for daily Ask Reddit. r/Ask Reddit. What is something about yourself that sounds totally made up but is 100% real? If you like the video, drop a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. I ran out of gas outside of La Paz, Bolivia. Luckily it was downhill for about 6 kilometers into the city. I coasted the whole way on my motorbike, past buses and drifted into a gas station. Never missed a beat. Sounds like you saved a liter of fuel to me. I'm one of very few people outside WW1 to live through mustard gas. So rare the doctors, 1995 no internet, had no idea how to treat me. How? Pure point child point stupidity. I grew up in a sparsely populated High Sierra community with lots of empty vacation homes. One of these homes was under construction about a block. There were no blocks in reality, just long windy roads cutting through the forest, and the construction crew would just leave the half-finished house open between shifts because no one lives here anyway. Me, a tard. Me and a friend decided to stumble into the home and duck around with rando stuff. I saw a large vat used for mixing liquids and poured an entire bucket of industrial cleaning liquid into it. I went and got another large bucket full of chemicals. Mix rando industrial chemicals, children, and dumped that in there too. Huge yellow gas explosion in my face. I got about 15 feet away before collapsing and beginning to retch yellow goo and vomit everywhere. No breathing now, just gasping and vomiting goop. My friend ran to get my mom. She called ambulance. They put me in a helicopter and sent me to Ark Davis Medical Center. My doctor eventually made contact with someone who knew how to treat my case through the internet. I had never heard of it. 2 weeks in the ICU. Almost died. And my lungs are still ducking trash. I'm 34 now. I've had a headache since August 2015, and I will probably have it for the rest of my life. It's only on half my head. So I got that going for me, which is nice. This made me ooh man out loud. I cannot imagine how you deal. I get headaches and migraines semi-frequently, and sometimes to the point I feel like I'm being tortured. Is there nothing they can do? How do you cope with the never-ending pain in your head? I genuinely hope you do not have this for the rest of your life. Me too. Also since August of 2015. That's when I had a craniotomy to remove half a brain tumor. I've had a constant headache, right eye blindness, no feeling, and minor paralysis on the right side of my head. But if you touch the right side of my head just the right way, even though there is no feeling to the head, it tickles my butt. IDK how it works. When my mom was in grad school, she took several labs where she worked with cadavers. Because my dad worked nights, she often had to take me to class with her, and she'd usually just plonk me down on the table with the cadaver while she worked on it. Can I go to work with you? Over my dead body. I can't look left. Seriously. I'm not an ambi-looker. It's like the Zoolander of birth defects. It's called Duane syndrome, and my left I can't turn left, so if I try to look to my left I see double. Growing up, my parents raised me to believe it was a party trick and not a disability, so I would always show it off to friends, which in retrospect I think was pretty sweet. Edit. My mom discovered that something was off when I was a baby, and she was doing the airplane motion with a spoon of baby food to the left. My left eye was not cooperating, lol. Edit 2. Fun fact, now that I'm in my 30s I can see in photos that there is a bag under my right eye, but not under my left eye, presumably because I use my right eye far more often. Edit 3. I'm so excited to see there are so many fellow redditors with Duanes, and I'm not alone. I've never met anyone else who had it, so it's really nice to hear from people who know what it's like. Edit 4. A lot of you have asked about driving. It didn't impact me, mainly because my mom taught me how to use my mirrors first, by turning my head before even letting me turn the car on for the first time. She walked around the car and we tried to identify my limitations. I also have a blind spot detector on my car now, which is super helpful. I try not to totally depend on it though. I got ran over by a car, but the driver didn't see me and proceeded to back over me. Did you get any major injuries? Luckily they didn't get my torso, but they crushed my legs. This was about when I was 13 to 14, about 4 to 5 years ago, so my legs healed, and I'm walking again. A pelican engulfed my head with its massive ducking beak when I was a small child. Pelicans are cants. Pelicans. Having lived around pelicans, I can confirm this. Also, I'm sorry, I know that most have been traumatic, but I'm laughing so hard right now after reading this. Because I'm imagining a pelican trying to eat a child's head. Like I'm actually in tears from your comment making me laugh so hard. It was super terrifying for little me at the time, but it makes for a great story now, so it's not all that bad. I have photophytodermatitis, which is a big fancy word for I can't get acidic juices, lemons, limes, apples, oranges, etc. on my skin and go out in the sun. Turns my skin brown like a rash. Doesn't hurt or itch, just discoloration. Happened 3 or 4 times in my life. Is it permanent? Or will the discoloration fade? It goes away in about a week. It's real splotchy looking, not a rash with a border, if that makes sense. Kinda blends out. My great-great-grandfather was a Pinkerton detective, acted on vaudeville, and had 5 wives in 2 different states that knew nothing of each other. He also slightly changed his last name each time and never got caught until Ancestry website happened lol. Sounds a bit like my great-grandfather. He had a wife in France and then 2 in the US in neighboring counties. He was caught though. My great-grandmother was wife #2. She found out about wife #3 and divorced him. No one knew about the first wife in France until I pulled his service records from WWI.